This content is unavailable due to your privacy preferences. Update your settings here to see it. Now all our premium tools for fantasy, DFS, and betting are included in one low price in one subscription. Customers can subscribe to NBC Sports Edge Plus for $9.99 per month. Click here to find out more. While the calendar turns November this week, the 2022-23 NBA season is still not a month old. Rotations are taking shape and injuries and illnesses are already affecting coaches' approach to their roster. 8 teams finished third. He will play 4 games during the week and 14 teams will have to play back-to-back at one point. Brooklyn may have pulled the short junk as the malicious Nets play 2 games in a row this week. Without further ado, the Fantasy Managers 3. Let's move on to some of the things to look out for during the week. Week 3 schedule, games played. 4th game, BKN, CHA, Chi, LAC, MEM, MIL, TOR, UTA, was. 3rd game, ATL, BOS, CLE, DET, GSW, HOU, LAL, MIA, MIN, NOP, NYK, OKC, ORL, PHI, PHO, POR, SAC, SAS. 2 game, DAL, DEN, IND. How will Philadelphia handle the minutes of Embiid? Following Friday's win over the Raptors, Joel Embiid returned to the roster for Saturday's win over the Chicago Bulls. He was able to play 32 minutes, and with last season's MVP runner-up, everything seemed fine. Embiid reverted to his injury report ahead of Monday's game against the Wizards due to a non-COVID illness, and the 76ers listed him as a suspect. When Embiid sat down on Friday, DeAnthony Melton moved into the starting lineup and had one of the best games of the season ever. Melton, who is in 58% of Yahoo leagues, provides 6th round per game, value per game in 9-cat format in just 21.0 minutes per game. The program may be the only thing that keeps Melton's percentage in the roster under control at the moment, as he seems to have recovered from his slow start. But even if Philadelphia is only playing 3 games this week, that might be a good time to get ahead of the rush and add to it. Embiid's current status and the 76ers 4. There is the fact that he will play 4 games a week. Even if Embiid is cleared to play Monday night, Melton will have value. Montrezl Harrell played 17 minutes against Toronto, so he would be lining up for an increase in minutes if Embiid couldn't go, but Melton is the obvious choice. The story continues. After Monday, it will be worth watching how Embiid's minutes are managed. He currently averages 34.5 minutes per game, which will be the highest of his career. In addition to the occasional rest days, there may also be games where Doc Rivers wants to take long breaks to the center to ensure it's fresh when the end of the season begins. Will the Grizzlies wait for Jones even if Morant returns? Ja Morant didn't lose out on Saturday's Jazz due to illness and, like Embiid, is listed as a suspect for Monday night. Tyus Jones got off to a good start on Saturday and finished with 23 points, a rebound, 10 assists, 2 steals, 3 three-pointers, and just 1 loose ball in 33 minutes. Jones, who is in the squad in 32% of Yahoo leagues, is an obvious broadcaster if Morant is ruled out for Monday's game. But should there be a wait when Morant returns? Probably not, because Jones is playing just under 24 minutes per game on average when coming off the bench. In those 5 games, he has 11.6 points, 2.6 rebounds, 3.6 assists, 0.4 steals, and 1.8 three-pointers on 39.7% from the field and 50% from the foul line. Jones hits in the pitch goal percentage and assist categories while in his usual reserve role make it difficult to justify his inclusion in standard leagues when Morant was healthy. While Morant has dealt with some injuries in each of his first 3 seasons, he hasn't missed enough time to justify his fantasy managers keeping Jones on their roster. Simply put, as soon as Morant's status for Monday's game is announced, managers will know what to do with Jones. If he's healthy, leave Jones. If not, keep a solid backup for at least 1 game. Will a clearly defined role unfollow Powell from the Clippers? Norman Powell didn't play at the level expected of more than a few fantasy managers in the preseason, and was outside the top 350 in 9 cat formats. However, he finished the week with 2 quality performances, scoring 21 points in Thursday's loss to the Thunder, and then an 18-point effort against the Pelicans on Sunday afternoon. Clippers coach Tyronn Lue put Powell on the bench for Sunday's game, even though Kawhi Leonard was ruled out. The coach had previously said he wanted to accustom Powell to the role he would be asked to take on once Leonard was in full motion, and it served as an important scoring option for the second unit. When we get Kawhi back, it would be pretty wise to try to get Norm used to the role he's going to play and try to build some kind of chemistry on both sides of the pitch and put him in his normal role. Lue said, according to Tomer Azarly of Clutch Points. Terrence Mann has started, and that's likely to be the case when the Clippers host the Rockets on Monday night. Because John Wall is likely to sit down for load management reasons, Powell's role is even more important for a team that is off to a slow start. It's still in the 45% of Yahoo leagues, which makes sense given the Clippers' rotation issues and the fact that they'll be playing 4 games this week. Powell's ability to improve his last 2 games will certainly affect his roster percentage. If it can't, that percentage will likely drop, and the number may not improve either. Brooklyn to do 2 rounds in a row this week. As mentioned in the introduction, Brooklyn's 3. He has a weird schedule to deal with in a week. The Nets will start with a back-to-back home game against the Pacers and Bulls, then finish with a back-to-back away game on Friday/Saturday. Wizards and Hornets. Seth Curry returned to the rotation on Saturday, and there were points where his presence allowed Steve Nash to shift man Ben Simmons into the middle position. Simmons matched his season record with 7 attempts, while also releasing a full stat line, but his bow scoring average limited his fantasy value. Simmons has already played for 2 teams back-to-back this season. Would Brooklyn ask him to do this twice in the same week? As for Curry, he's listed as a suspect for Monday's game, so it's safe to assume he won't be available for one of Brooklyn's first 2 games. It feels safe to leave Curry, who is in charge in 21% of Yahoo leagues, on the waiver line until he's considered healthy enough to play without any restrictions. Joe Harris may be in a similar position given the time he missed last season, so it's possible that 2 players who are expected to be prominently involved in Brooklyn's rotation will play in just 2 games next week. As for Kyrie Irving's case, it was reported by the New York Post on Sunday that he is not expected to be punished by the team or the league for sharing a link to a film containing anti-Semitic messages via his Twitter account on Thursday. According to the report, the tweet had been deleted as of Sunday evening. Irving averaged 39.0 minutes in all 6 of Brooklyn's games. How different will Chicago's starting lineup look like? The Bulls have started games slowly this season, and after losing to the 76ers on Saturday, Billy Donovan said he would take a look at everything. And this includes the possibility of changing the initial sequence. Ayo Dosunmu did not play on Saturday night, and Alex Caruso saluted with his head. While Dosunmu is said to be battling range of motion issues following the injury he suffered during Friday's loss to the Spurs, there's no guarantee he'll be healthy enough to play in Brooklyn on Tuesday night. This is the first consecutive game for Chicago that will be played 4 times next week. Caruso, who is in 51% of Yahoo leagues, is worth the roster because Dosunmu isn't the only guard Chicago should be worried about right now. Zach LaVine did not play in either leg of the Bulls' first consecutive game of the season. Goran Dragic, an off-season transfer, has only exceeded 20 minutes twice in his 7 games, so it would not be fair to expect too much from him in the short term. It can be a bit difficult to count Dosunmu and LaVine as roster changes, as these 2 are safe in their respective roles when they are healthy. What about Patrick Williams? He had a slow start to the season, reaching double digits only twice, and outside the top 150 in 9 cat formats. It wouldn't be fair to attribute Chicago's slow start to Williams alone, but Javonte Green outscored him in the team's first 7 games. Green, who is in 3% of Yahoo leagues, brings back the value per game, round 8 in 9 cat formats. Obviously, the fantasy production will not affect Donovan's decisions regarding the starting lineup. But if any changes are made beyond what is dictated by the healthy player, it seems likely that Williams will be involved. Will the Lakers' Westbrook continue to embrace his new role? Russell Westbrook was